Hello and welcome to a very normal start to another episode of Umineko on Wednesday. Hell yeah, time flies. Uh, we're gonna continue the story today after last week's harrowing episode that I was absolutely not prepared for. And yeah, some stuff broke. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it if you're watching the VOD for this. Don't worry about it. I'll get it fixed. It'll be fine. It won't even be that complicated. But yeah, last week was rough, to say the least. And that does mean that the content warnings will apply for this episode as well. Specifically, discussion and mentions of suicide, that'll come up today. So keep that in mind. Also, ongoing content warnings for character deaths, detailed descriptions of gore and body horror, child abuse, discussion and mentions of incest, and also misogyny. Because, yeah, those are just sort of always looming in the background with the series. Because it's you know, it deals with some dark subjects. I'm gonna start off the game now that we've covered the content warnings. And I'm gonna hit the button that prevents the intro from playing constantly. The spoilery intro. I think there's even still spoilers for what's coming up in that intro. So, oops. I'm not a fan of how they handled that for the PS3 version, let me just put it that way. Because it really does give away a lot of what's still coming up. Including some really key moments, and yeah. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that means I've been doing a really good job at hiding it. So go me, I guess. Alright, recap time. Last week, we had two duels. We had Battler versus Erica, and Ange versus Beatrice. And, well, Battler technically... Well, no. Let's say it was a draw between Battler and Erica, but as it turns out, Erica's just stalling, really. And didn't actually start thinking until the very last second. Proving that she is formidable, and scary, and kind of a clown. Which is why we love her, let's be real. In the meantime, Ange beat Beato at the locked room investigating, deciphering duel. Which means that she got her hands on the Book of the One Truth, as people keep calling it, which is Ava's diary, in which she wrote her experience on the island on that day, the 5th of October. She then joined up with Berncastle and Erica. And Berncastle is organizing a party during which he's going to show the contents of Ava's diary to a bunch of witches who will tear it apart. While this is all going on, the island is beset still by goats, which they represent people from like our time who are theorizing about what happened on the island, who are just sort of throwing ideas around, and some of them don't even care and they stop thinking entirely. They just think that it's interesting that this tragedy happened. And the only safe place left is the Golden Land, but even that is going to eventually be eaten by the goats, so everyone's gearing up to protect it. And then Ange opens the book. She reads what Ava wrote. Decides, fuck this. I don't like this. I hate this. I don't accept this. And then she leaps off a building. And dies. As far as we can tell, anyway. After some discussion with Erica as well, but the main idea here is that she does not accept the truth, rejects it. And since she got her wish, which was her goal the whole time, find the truth so that she can die. And then she does. And that's where we left off last week, which was heavy and I did not see it coming, but we'll be a little more prepared this time. I hope. Who knows what this game's gonna throw at us next. And the Book of One Truth does sound like a Lord of the Rings sequel, you're right. Ow, my tea is still too hot. Oh well. Just a little reminder, I am still trying to finish the series on the 5th of October. I have taken the 6th of October off because I will need it for emotional recovery. So I'm gonna do my best to not get sidetracked and have too much side banter, too many, not too much of that, but I'll still make the odd comment here and there, of course. But hopefully I'm not gonna go too fast. I think it'll be okay though. What's this sound I keep hearing? Yes, it must be the sound of rain. In that case, what are those two bright lights coming towards me? I don't know. However, they came at me with a screeching sound and stopped right in front of me. A blaring noise came at me, over and over. Whatever's shining those bright lights is threatening me. It's probably telling me to get out of the way. However, I was incapable of moving even a finger. There was a sound of a car door opening. Car. Door. Apparently, I was lying on asphalt under the pouring rain. I actually ended last week's episode 3 sentences or so before the end of the chapter. I still think the point where I cut it off is better than where the game cuts it off, but that's just me. I saw a figure, apparently the driver, open an umbrella and come towards me. Is this your garden? The figure questioned me. Of course, I couldn't answer it. If it is, then I must apologize. Yes, on a day with such fine weather, anyone would want to take a nap in such a lovely garden as this. And yet, unless my memory fails me... The figure crouched down and looked into my face. It was a woman. This is a public highway you're sleeping on. Do you want to become roadkill? Or maybe you already are roadkill. Well now, which one is it? I clenched my chest. I felt I needed to answer somehow and establish communication. So, after a lot of effort, I managed to let a short groan escape my lips. I see. So you aren't roadkill yet? And that was how I met Ikuko. The body is in a very frail condition. Also, it is probable that there will be memory defects. We won't know for sure until the CT scan, but brain damage is also a possibility. It's lucky that damage is all we have to deal with. Spend much longer in a spot like that and things would likely have been much worse. True. In any event, I recommend getting this checked at a large hospital. Thank you, Doctor. Please keep this off the record. It may not be much, but here's some money for your troubles. I see no reason to speak of this needlessly, but... No, I couldn't possibly accept that much. In the end, the doctor took the money and swore to keep quiet about the matter. Eventually, Hachijo returned. Oh, you've been awake. How do you feel? I nodded weakly, letting her know that it wasn't so bad for now. But where is this place? A room I have absolutely no memory of. In a house I don't remember at all. And, first and foremost, here's a woman that I've never seen. To start off, let me introduce myself. I'm Hachijo Ikuko. I don't mind if you address me in a friendly manner as Ikuko, or if you prefer to call me Hachijo-san and keep things more formal. Hachijo Ikuko. The Hachijo family owns a lot of land and is well known in these parts. Unlike my accomplished brothers, I'm what you might call a little eccentric. After I got into a bit too much mischief than was good for me, my parents finally ran out of patience and kicked me out. I'm now confined to this house. As a hobby, I like to read detective novels and also to write them. My age is a single woman's secret. My heart is that of a girl, but I'm approaching the point where calling myself one would be increasingly absurd. With the haze my mind was in, it was extremely hard to make out what she was talking about. However, I was able to pick up on the fact that she was trying to talk to me cheerfully. So, what's your name? My name... Logically, I know that, being a human, I must have a name. And I do have the feeling that I did indeed have a name. However, no matter how hard I tried to remember what it was, it just made my head hurt. Is there anything you can remember besides your name? Who am I? My head? No, even my heart was a mess of torn flesh. I couldn't remember a thing, not even who or what I was. But I must remember. I had some kind of purpose, or maybe a mission? In order to remember that, I first have to remember who I am. Who am I? What is my name? Where was I born and what was my birthday? I need to remember something, anything. Age. Age? That's my little secret. 18. I look like I'm 18? I'm 18. Oh, so that was your age. Well, no, I thought you were being a bit too flattering. When I asked myself how old I was, the number 18 floated into my mind. To be honest, I didn't really feel 18. My mind felt much younger than that, and my pathetic body felt much older. I see. So, you're 18. And that's all you can remember. I nodded weakly. I never knew that knowing nothing about yourself could make you feel so powerless. In that case, until you remember your name, let's give you the name Toya, written with the characters for 18. Hachijo Toya. What do you think? Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Yes, I must say I've impressed myself very much with that one. Hachijo Ikuko gave a satisfied laugh. From then on, I took the name Hachijo Toya. My inability to move my body was apparently due to a traffic accident. On that day, I had been hit by a car, and Ikuko had picked me up from where I lay on the street. If she hadn't hit the brakes, she probably would have driven straight onwards, thinking she'd run over a dead dog or something. Later on, I, perhaps rudely, suspected that the one who hit me might have been Ikuko herself. But when I saw her completely undamaged front bumper, I gave up on that theory. Hachijo Ikuko lived in a small but lovely mansion on the top of a small hill, in a village with a view of the sea. She also owned the hill behind her, and was more than capable of enjoying the 4 seasons in privacy. As time passed slowly, my rehabilitation continued, and my ability to move improved little by little. However, it seemed I really had suffered some form of brain damage. Finding out who I was looked like it would be a very difficult task. In the beginning, when I couldn't bear not knowing my identity, my head often hurt so much it felt as though it would explode. However, as I slowly accepted the fact that I was a new person, with the new name of Hachijo Toya, the headaches became less frequent. The whole time, no memories returned to me except the fact that I had been 18. However, I was unable to remember any more, unable even to be sure that 18 was my true age. And eventually, I stopped trying to remember my former self, not true self. Good morning, Toya. That was quite the storm last night. Were you able to sleep well? I had some trouble falling asleep, so I decided to read your manuscript. My. How far did you manage to get? I finished it. Now there's a surprise. You managed to read through all that in a single night. I was surprised too. Once I got into it, I finished it before I knew it. It was like I was just skimming it, or maybe like I was reading each page in a glance. It sounds like you have some talent at speed reading. So, how was it? What did you think of it? I liked it a lot. Still, if you don't explain that part about the ocean currents a bit more clearly, it might be a little unfair for the reader. Oh, but I thought it was great that you had the foreshadowing with the ring right there at the beginning. After I finished, I had to go back to the beginning and slap myself for being so easily tricked. I think that feeling's the best part of a detective novel. Did I say something to offend you? If I did, I apologize. Of course not. Why are you apologizing? I'm just shocked, that's all. The pertinence of your remarks is commendable. It seems you must You must also have some talent as a critic or a detective novel writer. A detective novel writer. A critic. From across the fog of oblivion, I seem to remember myself fighting and arguing about mysteries or something like that. That way of fighting, which I must have learned in the past, sent a surge of excitement through me. Mystery. Fighting. My head hurt. I accepted a painkiller and swallowed it with fresh water brought up from the well. Who am I, really? But no matter how much I thought, I couldn't remember. I was told that the frequency of my headaches could be lessened by brain surgery, but also that there was no guarantee that it would do my memory any good. Ikuko said that she would let me have the surgery. She would let me have surgery if I wanted it. However, I refused. Even if I can't remember it, the real me is still there, sleeping inside my head. I was scared that the surgery might harm that me somehow. By now, I've gotten used to dealing with headaches. As long as I don't force myself to remember the past, the headaches don't torment me every day. So, bit by bit, I became free of the headaches. Got used to my new life as Hachijo Toya. Gradually, my interest shifted from myself to Ikuko. Hachijo Ikuko. A very strange woman. First off, she was apparently the daughter of a very well-off family, just as she had said. However, she was considerably eccentric, and the various mischievous incidents she spoke of had apparently gotten her within an inch of being disowned. As a result, she had been given this house and had been ordered to live here quietly and alone. She had never been a particularly social person, so she happily accepted this new state of affairs, living however she pleased with servants to take care of her. She had no friends. No one ever came to visit. Besides me, the only one she ever talked to was Byrne, an old black cat she kept as a pet. I didn't know her real age. She didn't seem to be too old to marry yet, but she wasn't likely to meet anyone new leading an isolated life like this. Despite her insistence that she just hadn't met anyone worth the trouble, I felt as though she'd already given up on marriage. Her everyday life changed very little. She would either read through the many detective novels that were brought to her, or else write detective novels herself. At first, I thought she was some novelist at a private retreat, plugging away at a new book. However, the manuscripts she finished just ended up clipped together in a pile. With me as the sole exception, it didn't look like she gave them to anyone else to read. A novelist is someone who writes novels for other people to read. So I figured you could hardly call her a novelist when she kept writing novels no one would ever read. Ikuko-san, why don't you ever show these to anyone? I showed them to you. Only the better ones, of course. Haven't you ever thought of sending one to some publishing company? It's a shame for things to be this way, and your works are so interesting. My works can't stand up against the pros. I sent one in once, but it was absolutely no good. I understand my position. This is just an amateur's pastime. I don't think amateur is a fitting word for someone who's so well versed in detective novels from all times and places across the world. Being a big eater doesn't mean you'll make a good cook. Reading every detective novel you can get your hands on provides no guarantee of being a good detective novelist. That's how it is. That's why this is nothing more than a pastime. Is it really fun to write novels that you won't show to anyone? It used to be. Once. What about now? I like getting to hear your opinions. At any rate, I've finished writing the chapter. I'll go make some tea, so would you mind reading it again and sharing your thoughts with me? Saying this with a smile, Ikuko thrust the pile of manuscript paper at me. When it comes to detective novels, reading and writing are the same. It's boring if you just do it by yourself. You only get something really precious when you share the world with someone else. Headache. Toya, are you okay? I'll go get some headache medicine. I'm fine. I'm more interested in this manuscript. I can't wait for the new chapter. The seasons passed. Together with Ikuko, in this town whose name I didn't even know, I spent my days debating detective novels and talking about ideas for new plots. At a glance, they may have appeared to be stale and unproductive days. However, I found satisfaction with my new life as Hachijo Toya. And so, the curtain closes on the strange tale of Kurokubi Island. The end. With the dramatic flourish of her fountain pen, Ikuko signified that her manuscript was now complete. What do you think? I tried using your plot to make Tsujiko's tragic love scene at the end a bit more moving. I think it's very good. I think the last farewell is sad enough to make it moving as a story, not just as a reasoning puzzle. That's thanks to your plot. Compared to this work, everything I've written before now is worth little more than scrap paper. Even as I was writing it, I was excited to be the first person in the world who got to read it. I've never felt that before. I just mentioned some ideas. You're the one who turned them into such a fascinating story, Ikuko-san. Before I knew it, she had roped me in as well, and I too had dipped my toe into the world of detective novel writing. Apparently, the old me had possessed some knowledge of mysteries and detective novels and the like, and my talents seemed to be of a fairly unorthodox kind. I turned famous mysteries from across the world on their head, always looking to twist those ideas into something new. However, a few ideas aren't enough to make a book. No meal is complete if all you can do is chop up vegetables. It was thanks to Ikuko's writing, a skill she had built up over many years, that my ideas were transformed into a work of fiction. This first work that we had authored together, The Strange Tale of Kurokubi Island, had brought out the best of our individual quirks, and, though I hate to brag, it had turned into a masterpiece that we could show to anyone without shame. Hello? Please bring us some champagne. Bring a glass for yourself as well. This is the best work ever created within these walls. Let's celebrate. Ikuko called for some champagne over the internal phone line. Joined by the servant who happened to be working that day, and the cat Bern, we raised our glasses high and toasted our accomplishment. Ikuko-san, I have an idea, if you don't mind. Let's hear it. There is never a wrong time for your ideas, as long as I'm not in the shower or on the can. Why don't we try submitting our book? I've never read something this interesting before. I'm sure lots of other people will want to read it. You think so? I tried once in the past, thinking the same thing, but the result was... I believe in your talent, Ikuko-san. What about you? Of course, I believe in your talent. Then it's decided. To Ikuko-san's big debut. To Toya's big debut. We clinked our glasses once more. And on that note, I'm gonna drink some tea. Ow. I hit myself with my mug. Pour the champagne, maybe when this series is over. But I think I'll be drinking my own tears instead. It will be salty champagne. And don't worry, it's not gonna be just because the story's gonna end sad like everyone's been saying this whole time. It's more like, you know, I've been working on this series for almost 2 years now, I think. It's the end of an era, you know? And yeah, I don't think salty champagne would be that good, but hey, maybe it's like delicious and I just invented a new thing. I probably didn't. Oh well. Marmite champagne. If I ever get my hands on Marmite, I'll put it in some champagne for you. That's a promise. And I'll either curse you or bless you depending on how that tastes. Oh my god, I left the tea bag in too long because I was fixing my streaming setup, or attempting to. And the tea got so bitter, and all the bitterness was at the very, very bottom. Oh my god. I don't mind bitter, but this was a little too much. This is like bitter to the point where it makes you thirsty, even though you're like drinking tea. Add warm water to make sure the Marmite flavor is evenly distributed. Yeah, a little bit too many tannins. Too much tannins? Is that like... I don't know how you say that. Either way. English is not my first language, so... stuff like that confuses the fuck out of me sometimes. Anyway. Thank you for the very... many tannins, okay. Thank you for the instructions on how to make Marmite champagne, by the way. I'll keep that in mind. We clinked our glasses once more. The evening wore on. We must have had way too much to drink. Before I knew it, I must have passed out on the sofa. There was a blanket covering me. Ikuko-san must have put it there. The lights were out in the study, but it wasn't dark. The computer's monitor was glowing. Outside, it had started to rain. It reminded me of the day Ikuko-san found me and took me in. Because of that, whenever it rains, I find myself wondering who I was, and I usually get headaches. So I wasn't sure whether the pain was because of the rain or because I drank too much. Ikuko-san, turn on the lights. Using a computer in the dark is bad for your eyes. Oh, did I wake you up? No, I slept well. Thanks to that, I feel refreshed. I turned on the light and looked out through a gap in the curtains. As I thought, it was the sort of pouring rain that always reminded me of that day. It's raining pretty hard out there. The wind looks pretty strong too. I hope the rain gutters don't get clogged with leaves again. I just had them cleaned the other day, so they should be fine for a while. Her answer sounded a little abstracted. Apparently, her attention was absorbed by the computer. You've been pretty hooked by that computer lately, Ikuko-san. Did you find an interesting article or something? It may be a bit juvenile, but it's still pretty interesting. You know, that Rokkanjima incident. Rokkanjima? I told you about the Rokkanjima mystery a few days ago, remember? It's been really huge on the net lately. The discussions, theories, and especially the forgeries have been quite entertaining. The forgeries are stories with the premise that further message bottles signed by Ishinomiya Maria existed and washed up on one of the nearby islands. Only too happy to share her knowledge of the subject, Ikuko continued her explanation at length. However, a huge bell was clanging inside my head. The noise was so great that I thought my head would split open. Unable to tell what was the floor and what was the ceiling, I crumpled and clutched at my head. Toya, are you okay? My head hurts. The Rokkanjima explosion accident. The many disquieting rumors surrounding it. The scheming of the relatives after Ishinomiya Kinzo's vast wealth and the hidden gold. And the truth? Ishinomiya Eva, the sole survivor, said nothing. Eventually, the granddaughter, Ishinomiya Ange, who escaped harm because she was absent on that day, would inherit everything. Ange. Ange. Ishinomiya Ange. I am Ishinomiya. No good. My head is splitting. An incomprehensible scene pierced my eyelids from the inside like a blade of light. Just what am I looking at? Who are these people calling to me, but not by the name Toya? Who am I? Who are these people? What is this memory? Help me, Ikuko. Someone else's memory is hurting me. My head's splitting. I can hear the sorrowful sound of wind. And that must be the rain. Who am I again? I'm 後ろ宮. Ange, Ange, please, please say something. Voices calling to me. Dad and Mom. It can't be them. In 1986, on Rokajima, Mom and Dad. Ange, hang in there. Can you hear Daddy's voice? Please, say something, Ange. Mom, Dad. Oh, say it out loud. Mom, Dad. Ange. Ange, thank goodness. I forgot how Brudel's voice worked, sorry. I could feel my body being lifted up firmly and hugged roughly. Mom and Dad were hugging me. My eyelids had been open for a while now. I could feel the light slowly returning to my eyes. Just like your eyes get used to the dark, my eyes got used to the light, and bit by bit, the scene around me came into view. However, it was an unusual sight, which seemed to be very far away. My body was being hugged by Mom and Dad. Dad was sniffling, his face covered with tears. There were tears in Mom's eyes too as she hugged me tight. It was so strong that it hurt a bit. I was the bad kid who wasn't obedient, who always had an excuse, and who always tried to do the opposite of what her parents said. That was why they were holding me tight, to make sure I didn't head down the wrong path. As my eyes adjusted, I could see other people beside my parents. Everyone was there. Jojo Oni-chan, Jessica Oni-chan, Maria Oni-chan, my uncles and aunts, even Sakutaro. And then there was the witch Virgilia, and Ronove, and where... You were fortunate. By chance, we found you drifting in the waves of the sea of emptiness. You were in a terrible state. It took much time to make you remember your true form. Beatrice. So, this is... the Golden Land. Your whole family has been waiting here for you to return. We knew you would come home. Did I come home because I was supposed to? Didn't I return to the form I was meant to have and then... No, you did come home. That's right. You made it back here because you wanted to come home to us. That... You don't need to say anything. You've been on a great and terrible journey, haven't you? You took that journey all by yourself. You understand now, do you? Don't you? You won't forget again. I understand, Dad. This is a place you can always call home. I know. When I gave that answer, Mom and Dad hugged me again. Hot tears fell onto my face. They were Mom and Dad's tears. Alright might not be the best way to put it, but I'm so glad. Glad you came home. Ava. Feel free to hate me as much as you want, but give your mom and dad a million kisses. Give a kiss to everyone who cared about you so much. Oh, Ava. And say I'm home to your other mother. Mom gave me a push from behind, and I stumbled forwards, towards my other mother. Ava, Mom, Ange-chan, if only I'd called you that on that day, I might never have messed up. We might have been able to create a new world together. It's in the past now. You've come home. You don't need to say anything else. Mom. Welcome home, Ange-chan. You're my precious daughter. Mom. You're always, to the very end, the one looking out for me the most. The two of them hugged each other quietly, burying their faces in the other's shoulders and sobbing. The truth wasn't worth anything at all. In the first place, the truth is always in the past. The point of the future isn't to learn what happened in the past. What really matters is whether I truly live and prosper in the truth that is the now. How can there be any truth in a life not truly lived? Back when I only ever tried to see the truth of the past, I was nothing more than a ghost trapped in that past. Since that time, I haven't lived a single day. Now, I truly understand. This is what real truth is. I will live, and I've remembered how much everyone loved me. Because I was young and selfish, I didn't even remember until now. The kind grandpa who always spoiled me. The entertaining aunts and uncles. All of the kind and gentle servants. It was always warm. And yet, because I was young and cruel, I never even tried to retain any of those memories. Everyone was distorted by my irresponsible imagination, and I completely forgot how things were. Now I can remember clearly, and I understand. It's true that the Halloween quiz party itself was an illusion. We never did anything like that. But there were all kinds of other fun things we did do when the relatives gathered. Things that were no more or less fun than that party. Then, for the first time since the start of the game, I went up to each and every one of them to greet them, thank them, and apologize. To thank Grandpa for always pampering me. To thank my aunts and uncles. To thank the cousins for always playing with me even though I was so selfish. And to thank the creatures of fantasy and apologize to them. I think I said something horrible to Sakutaro once, in the past. And to Maria One-chan too. Maria One-chan, you really were a witch, weren't you?
I've always been a witch. You approached that level yourself once, didn't you?
No. I never really understood. I felt sorry for you and your magic. I could only feel sorry for you. So, I couldn't pick up a fragment of happiness. Couldn't even find one. You told me that yourself once, Ine-chan.
It can't be helped. It takes two to create a universe. I had Beato, but you were all alone.
No. If only I could have called Aunt Ava Mom, then there would have been two of us. I'm sure I'd have been able to create a new world with the same magic you used, Maria-chan. All of it is my fault. The message bottles I threw into the sea for fun caused a distortion in your future and wore you down. I bear responsibility for that. Yeah, seriously. It's all because of your message bottles. Because of those, people started copying you and making forgeries, growing the story into something crazy. However, the message bottles thrown into the sea by Beato did not name a specific person as the culprit. One of the forgers wrote a plausible forgery that had Ushinomiya Eva as the culprit, which spread like wildfire. I should have known better than anyone that it couldn't possibly be true, but even I accepted it in the end. It isn't your fault, Beato. No matter how many people around me had their baseless suspicions, there should have been only one truth inside me. And yet, so easily I abandoned my warm memories of all of you and surrendered my heart to them. No. If I had not thrown the message bottles, future Rokurentima would never have become a flourishing ground for such bizarre misconceptions. I bear responsibility for it all. True. That's right. It really is your fault after all. It's a little irritating to hear you say it so boldly. I changed my mind. You have your share of the blame as well. Yeah, you're right. You're at fault, and so was I. Still, it'd be stupid for us to attack each other. After all, I'm a witch of the future. You're a witch of the past. I should be using that magic to build my future. We both bear responsibility in some way, but neither of us has the right to blame the other.
I knew you could do it, Ange. I knew you'd be able to understand Mariage Sorcier's teachings.
You're right. As the final member of Mariage Sorcier, it's my responsibility to pass on your magic.
My magic can make everyone happy.
Indeed. You both have pure magic and wicked magic at your fingertips. That's true. Magic can change completely depending on your heart. You can't use magic properly without the proper guidance. And proper magic can guide people to happiness. It is a wonderful thing. Bringing people happiness is the sole reason that witches wield magic. I am very pleased that we were finally able to pass on this lesson to the last in the line of endless witches. Sorry for passing it. Sorry for failing to pass it down myself at all. At all, even.
Witch of the future, Ange Beatrice. I hereby retract your expulsion from Mariage Sorcier. Ryu, I knew Ange would come back. Congratulations, Ange-sama.
Back in the days when I traveled together with you all, I remember thinking I understood all this, but I didn't. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Witches cannot create a universe unless there are two. In the future, you will be alone. Will you really be okay? Yeah, I'll be okay. I'm not alone anymore. I'll live with everyone. And I'll live in the future. I swear to keep living so that I can pass on the magic of Mariage Sorcière. Maria Onechan's magic has saved me too. Has saved me too. There are a lot of people out there who need magic. Teaching it the right way and saving as many people as I can is my mission as the final witch of Mariage Sorcière. Will you truly be able to do so? Of course. I have the power to do it. There's a golden magic that my predecessor, Eva Beatrice, spent so much time building. I've inherited all of that, right? If only my health had held out a little longer. I was planning to spend all of it on myself. As Ange laughed, tears poured from her eyes again. Everyone surrounded Ange with their kind, warm smiles. Valor stood alone in the rose garden maze, letting the rain quietly fall on him. After searching for some time, Ange found him. Oni-chan. Ange, who was feeling guilty, sensed anger in her brother's expression, so she thought he was going to hit her. She shut her eyes tight. However, her brother touched her softly. He patted her head gently. See? The truth wasn't anything important, was it? No, it wasn't. Even though you were here, waiting for me to come home in such a warm world, I had my back turned the whole time. You learned the truth. Yeah. So, any hopes you had of someone miraculously surviving and coming back have been crushed. However, you now have a new mission and a new hope to help you live in the future. You kept those precious hopes safe for me. And I opened the box with my own hands and let them all escape. Turned out worse than Pandora's box. The truth I didn't need to know flew out of the box, along with all my hopes, leaving nothing inside but empty space. That's okay. It's open now, and that's that. An empty box isn't so bad. It's a clean slate, a fresh start. And anyway, if you're harboring false hopes, sometimes it's better just to pull out the thorn. Valor laughed heartily. Then, with that same smile on his face, he told her, "We are already dead." Yeah. You've lived 12 years in the hope that we might still be alive. Not anymore. That's over and done with. Yeah. I know. Starting now, I'll step forward into a new life. Beato put Rokonjima in the cat box. The next witch, Aunt Ava, guarded the lid of that cat box her whole life. The witch after that was you, and you opened that lid, but so what? Why does the truth of the past matter? Yeah. From now on, I'll truly live, and I'll make my own personal truth prosper. Good luck. Final Witch of Mariage's Sorcier. I've read Maria's grimoire. It's a great book with some really good stuff written in it. Even the Bible needs a translator. So Maria's grimoire probably needs one too. You will be that translator. You've got to teach it to kids who are in the position you once were. That's your mission, as the new witch of the future. Yeah. I'm gone. But I'll always be behind you, watching over you. I know. And not just you. Everyone else too. We all love you. And we'll love you forever and ever. Don't forget that. I won't. Never. Never ever. Ange leapt into Balor's chest and sobbed. Humans are sad creatures who can learn, but not unlearn. She had already learned. It was a cruel, terrifying, merciless thing, capable of destroying even the miracle called hope. However, there was still one tiny fragment left, gripped in her hand. Her family's love. If Ange could just remember that love and hold on to it tightly, then she could surely live on. She could stop herself from taking that single step into nothingness. Besides, the Rokonjima cat box hasn't yet been opened completely. You've just taken a peek at what's inside. So now, you must be the lid yourself. And this time, you will be the one to protect everyone inside the cat box. Me and Dad and Kiryu-san, the cousins and the uncles and the aunts, grandfather and the servants, and all of the fantasy people. Yeah. This time, I have to protect everyone. Then, shouldn't you hurry up a bit? Oh, that was Lambdadelta.
Then, shouldn't you hurry up a bit?
From the other side of a rose bush came the sound of popcorn being eaten. It was Lambdadelta.
I'm pretty sure you know this, but Byrne is just about to hold a big party for the Book of the Single Truth. She's gathered beings from heaven and from hell, from heaven and hell, from the spirit world and from parallel worlds. If she announces what's in that book in a place like that, it'll all be too late, won't it?
I'm going. I gave Burncastle that key. It's my responsibility. I'll go and bring it back. The City of Books, is it? But there's no way for us to get in. There's a barrier around that place. She gave me this. With it, I can come and go as I please. What an idiot. She forgot to collect it when she threw me away. Ange fished through her pocket, and there was a jingling sound. It was a bell with a blue ribbon tied to it.
And that's it. One of those temporary entry passes that you get when you turn in your invitation. As long as you have that, at least one of you will be able to get into the City of Books. Well, as long as someone takes you across the Sea of Fragments first.
Lambdadelta, take me to the City of Books. Ange. This is my way of taking responsibility. I'll see that the Book of the Single Truth isn't made public.
Are you serious? That place is a den of monsters among monsters. Now that you've lost Burn's protection, you'll be weaker than a fly. You'll be smushed and that'll be the end of you.
The bell was stolen from Ange's hands. Lambdadelta, I'll go there. I just need you to take me and send me on my way. I'm an empty creature anyway, unable to exist outside the cat box. Ange, on the other hand, has to live on into the future. And you're also a person with a future. So, I'll go. I have nothing to lose. No, this is my responsibility, my way of making up for what I did. If I don't do it myself, the future won't change at all, and I won't be able to save the cat box of the future. Ange tried to snatch the bell from Battler's hand, but Battler had no intention of giving it up. The two of them were grimly serious, but from the sidelines, it just looked like an ordinary squabble between two close siblings. Lambdadelta watched this conversation and shrugged. If she just had to take either one of them to the City of Books, she wouldn't have to make any enemies, and there was no risk to her. All she cared about was which one would make the story more interesting. Nothing else. But then, she finally noticed.
Hold on. Hold on a sec, you two. Hold on. What's your problem? Save it for later.
We're having an important sibling discussion here.
Okay, first off, let go of each other. Balor's holding the bell now, right? Jump, Balor.
Jump? Like this? Jingle, jingle.
You next, Ange. Try jumping.
Why me as well? Jingle, jingle. Huh? Why? If Balor was holding the bell, where did that sound come from? Ange hurriedly searched through her pockets. When she did, another blue ribbon bell came out of a different pocket than the first one. These are the same, aren't they? No way. Why are there two? I was only given one of them.
I don't know why, but the point is, you've got two bells that'll get you into the City of Books. Therefore, I don't have to sit here and watch the two of you play with each other anymore.
The pair of them gripped their bells and looked at each other.
From the very beginning, this game has belonged to the two of you. There's just been a slight change in who the opponent is. This game isn't a competition between you two. It's a fight over the cat box, with you two who want to close the lid on one team, and Burn, who wants it opened, on the other. Ange has moved from Burn's team to Balor's team. That's all there is to it.
Lambdadelta, take us to the City of Books.
I hope you know I'm just taking you there. After that, I'm done being anything but a spectator. I'm just gonna be sitting nearby and watching, to see exactly how you fight, what you do, and how Burn is going to make mincemeat out of you both.
Lambdadelta. Thank you. Well, well, well. Yeah, she's definitely soft on the inside. Oh, ho, ho. The pirate ships are back. Still very impressed with that, honestly. Shannon and Kanon stood guard in front of the door to the Golden Land. They glared quietly and fearlessly at the eerie fleet of ships across the horizon. Chuck is leading the charge. That's appropriate. I played Monkey Island on Monday. It's been a lot of fun so far. Shannon slowly lifted her hands. Kanon also raised his right hand, and a blade that trailed red appeared there.
Stop right there. I forbid you to come any closer.
If you do, I'll kill you. They could see a single dinghy leave the fleet and approach them. They couldn't tell if it was a messenger or the first wave. Shannon and Kanon watched it cautiously. At the head of that dinghy, rowed by goats, stood Erica. The hat. The hat, though. And yeah, the Monkey Island series is fucking great. Just like this pirate hat. Oh my god. How does that even work with your hair, girl? Are there like holes for your pigtails? I bet there are. Amazing. The narration's just as confused as I am. Where had she gotten that hair care from? Maybe she was trying to act the part of the fleet's leader. The object on top of Erica's head, as she glared at them with an audacious smile, appeared to be a pirate hat.
I've come to deliver our terms. There will be room for negotiation. Please open the gate.
Shannon and Kanon looked at each other. Erica was the one offering this deal. It wasn't likely to be anything agreeable. However, if they turned her away, the attack would probably begin at once. Since they were in a firmly inferior position, they wanted to buy time by any means they could. At Shannon's nod, Kanon erased his sword. The Golden Land was filled with a hard downpour accompanied by occasional thunder. Realizing that this weather spoke for their emotions, Erica smiled even more boldly. At the center of the Golden Land was the arbor surrounded by the Golden Rose Garden. A large number of humans and fantasy creatures were there, arguing about something. Even without asking, it was easy to guess the nature of the debate by their anguished expressions. After all, in this life or death situation, they didn't have many options they could take. In the direction Erica was being led, with her goat guards alongside her, Beatos stood waiting, accompanied by the Chester sisters' troops. Noticing Beato, Erica gave a bow that at least appeared graceful. Beato followed suit and gave the sort of graceful bow that was rarely seen from her. I am Beatrice, the golden and endless witch, and master of the Golden Land. Announce yourself. As though hinting that she was more than ready to go through with this farce, Beato introduced herself boldly requested that Erica do the same.
We have been dispatched from the great witch of theater-going, drama, and spectating's noble city of carefully selected books. I am the Witch of Truth, the commander of the library fleet, which is committed to bestowing honor and protection to books. My name is Fururo Erika. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Shall we get down to business?
You ought to celebrate. We of the library fleet, dedicated to offering honor and protection to books, have come to bring good news to you all. First, I would like to announce that, after careful selection, the City of Books has acknowledged and accepted the game board created by the Endless Witch Beatrice as a great and honorable book.
Oh, that is indeed a great honor.
This game board is a profoundly entertaining and original masterpiece, worthy of close study. It deserves to be released for all of our subjects to read. And so, the City of Books has ordered us to grant eternal honor and protection to this game board.
This is all quite long and boring. Get to the point.
We demand that you hand the entirety of this game board over to the Honorable City of Books. Doing so will give this board and its pieces the greatest honor and protection imaginable.
And if you refuse,
You will be prosecuted for the crime of monopolizing a great cultural artifact that ought to be shared among all of our subjects. We are here to notify you of the impending assault, one which will be waged by us to protect the benefits that are the rightful property of all subjects, not yours alone.
are you not concerned that the shared property of all subjects might be destroyed in this assault of yours?
According to the Great Library Protective Regulations, should a criminal guilty of monopolization of a cultural artifact attempt to hold the aforementioned hostage in the... Holy shit!
What a sentence. I'm trying to keep like the upbeat pacing. But, Erica, why do you do this to me? This is an attack.
According to the Great Library Protective Regulations, should a criminal guilty of monopolization of a cultural artifact attempt to hold the aforementioned hostage in a refusal to surrender, the Executive Fleet may prioritize arrest over its protective duties, provided that they obtain permission from the Great Court. Of course, we have already obtained the Great Court's written authorization.
I imagine the word arrest is closely followed by dead or alive. Am I right?
My. I'm impressed that you can read those tiny letters. Now, enough fooling around. Let's hear your answer.
What do we have to gain by accepting your conditions?
Both of us will be saved a troublesome task. Furthermore, your brave and noble acts will be written down as a glorious final chapter in the City of Books. You do understand, right? You have no chance of winning. This won't even be a fight. It will just be you, sitting there at the bottom of the well, looking up at the rocks being dropped on you.
The feathers were there before. But you know, there's no goat guards obscuring them anymore. Man, what a fancy hat. So, you claim that my only option is to decide how the library witch is right at my final moments.
The rest is up to you. If you treasure this game board, you ought to surrender. The pieces will be treasured by our many subjects for all time, and will be able to continue their roles on into eternity.
In other words, the tragedies I created at will shall continue forevermore.
How is that any different from what you've been doing so far?
It isn't. Is there anything else? If not, allow me to give you my answer.
Go ahead.
Erica tensed slightly. After all, this was the great Lady Beatrice she was dealing with. She might shout, "Here is my answer," dramatically and do something crazy. They say a cornered rat is the most dangerous. Furthermore, Erica had intel telling her that the great Lady Lambdadelta, Witch of the Senate, had been spending her time inside the Golden Land, though only as a theater-goer. Erica needed to carry out this noble task that her master had assigned her, and she had to carry it out perfectly. If she was honest, she wanted to make Beato raise a white flag, even by trickery if necessary. So, even though this was a farce, she held back from giving any unneeded provocation. She gulped and tried to size Beato up. And then, with a pathetic expression on her face, Beato let out a sigh. I'll be honest. The truth is, I am tired.
What do you mean by that?
My game had already achieved its purpose when my fight with Battler ended. And yet, for various reasons, the game has repeated several times since then. To be perfectly honest, I'm tired of it.
To be honest, I certainly didn't expect that answer. So, you want to surrender? Really?
Simply put, I don't care either way. It doesn't matter whether I surrender or whether we're vanquished by you. I simply wish to have the curtain closed on this game board and tale, regardless of who does the deed. Of course, that was a lie. She knew she couldn't win even if she fought. For now, their best option was to play for time. They would fix Erica's attention to this spot, and during that time, Battler and the others would steal the key from Burnt Castle while she was completely off her guard. Once they had the key, they would return to the Golden Land, use that key to let Ange open the door to the future and see her off. That was their goal. Everything after that would be inside the cat box. Ange would live on into the future, with hope. No one would know whether Beato and the others were alive or dead. That was enough. The only strategy Beato and the others could use to achieve this was to buy time.
If you do surrender, it may be a bit of an anticlimax, but it will save me a lot of trouble.
But, well, it is not so simple. You see, and this is just between you and me. As you may know, the great Lady Lambdadelta is staying here. She is, you see, pushing us to show her a dramatic climax.
That's a pretty cruel whim to force on someone. How are a few wimpy people like you, the dregs of an already solved puzzle, supposed to fight against our fleet, with its hundreds of thousands of troops?
Very true, very true. The gap in strength is overwhelming. We told her that it wouldn't even be a fight, but, well, Lady Lambdadelta didn't listen and just said she would bring some of her friends to support us, so we would fight. So we would fight with everything we had.
Lady Lambdadelta's, friends.
Unlike Burnt Castle, who kept to herself, Lambdadelta had many friends. Her friends and patrons were all formidable, including monsters that had become legends in their own lifetimes and territory lords commanding vast influence over their respective domains. In all seriousness, Her fan club, she so called it, had enough size and influence that no one would have been overly surprised if it had suddenly declared itself an independent nation right in the middle of the Sea of Fragments. Damn, land is popular. To our dismay, Lady Lambdadelta is very much ready for action. Without any regard for us, she keeps calling up friends and acquaintances on the phone from all over the place, telling them to come over. Of course, this was all a lie. Lambdadelta had turned into a small candy comet and was now shooting towards the city of books, with Battler and Ange in tow. So, to make sure that Lambdadelta's and Battler's absences were not noticed, everyone was crowded around the arbor, pretending to argue furiously with each other. Battler-sama, give us your decision. We, the Seven Sisters of Purgatory, are prepared for death at any time. I firmly oppose taking a last stand that would lead to our deaths. What could possibly be gained by dying? How can you be such a coward? It is inconceivable that we should live on in shame as prisoners. There are times when the mere fact of being alive gives one opportunities. Yes, indeed. A short temper makes a bad leader. It's so funny because they're just talking to nothing. Battler, if you call yourself a man, now's the time to act like one. The great Lambdadelta-sama is even willing to help out, right? I agree. These are the times when a man has to make a tough decision. In many cases, the timing of a decision is more valuable than the decision itself. If we surrender, they might not be violent.
You can't be serious. Weren't you supposed to be a lion? And a male one too? Where are your fangs now?
If death awaits us regardless, I would rather die as a wolf than as a pig.
Are you stupid? Are you saying you want to die like a dog?
It all depends on the strength of the support Lambdadelta-san can provide.
Lambdadelta-san, are your friends really strong enough to win against them?
It's a gamble. Do we surrender and die, or do we take the gamble and die by losing? Interesting. In that case, our chances for survival must be higher if we gamble on it. An honorable surrender will surely cause the Great Court to show mercy. They're backed by the Senate, aren't they? Sure, they'll hem and haw, but we'll all see the guillotine in the end. Anyway, let's all calm down. Cool your heads. I'm opposed to letting our emotions control us. Jesus Christ, George, why are you like this? And yeah, Sakutaro never had fangs, I guess. But maybe he has them in spirit, you know? Why don't you calm down first? We have another possible strategy. Mutually assured destruction. We might not be able to win, but if we can convince them that we plan on taking enough of them with us, that might force our opponents to show restraint. Basically, if they're gonna pick a fight, we'll let them know we aren't going down without doing some damage first.
All of Lambdadelta's friends are incredible. She knows lots and lots of witches, beasts, demons, and gods, all of which have really, really huge legends and histories. Even if those ships outnumbered the stars in the sky, Lambdadelta's friends would wipe them out with a single blast. Hehehehehe.
Will this really work? She hasn't seen through her act yet, has she? It is working. You must speak more forcefully as well. Do not worry about politeness.
Enough, you gutless swine. Do you lack the backbone to finish with a bang?
Hold on. Don't forget that some of us are opposed to fighting. I think we should surrender.
What? Goda, you defeatist fool.
Ouch! My lord, it's just an act. God damn it, Goda. Well, it looks like the debate has gotten quite heated. Will we surrender? Or will we fight back? Which will it be? Nobody knows. I love her pouty face, it's so cute. God, switching voices that much fucking hurts. Ow. Ouchies. I get why it's necessary, because we're wrapping up. Everybody's gotta you know. Everybody's gotta get their time to shine. Except for Goda, because he sucks. Even when he shines. Like, out of all the characters, I think he has the least positive scenes in the whole dang game. In the whole series. Poor Goda, but also... Yeah, no, poor Goda. I'm sure he has redeeming qualities. There's no way he doesn't. He's too low-key for that. Like, it's all kind of like, he kind of sucks, and not he's a terrible person, so... He's a great cook, that's a selling point, for sure. He likes crossword puzzles, that's the other thing I remember about him. And he's nice when he talks about food. It's like his hyper-focus. The crossword puzzles get him killed, they cut... True. Don't they? True. Because then he slacks off at work to do a crossword puzzle and he becomes prime, like, closed room murder material. Sorry, just stretching the everything. You thought he was a goat? I mean, he is kind of buff, so that would make sense. Wait, didn't Goda, like, fight a goat at one point? I think he did, but then he lost really quickly after that. Like, he punched one in 4. I might be wrong about that. I mean, he's definitely not a goat, though. Or is he? Who knows? Maybe I'm lying. To cover it all up. Oh, that made me think of a terrible thing, and I won't say anything, because I don't wanna... Ooh, that made me think of a terrible thing. Like a what-if scenario, it's not related to the game directly. Anyway. The goats are kind of stand-ins usually. They're either like furniture for the witches. So they're like basically just, you know, magical creatures, and goats have like a long-standing history of being involved with like demons and the devil, symbolically speaking. so it's like an occult thing. And then additionally, they're also like as a sort of stand-in for as of, you know, this arc, they're also a stand-in for the people of the future who are speculating about what happened in the past and kind of tainting and twisting the story that way and kind of like consuming it for their own entertainment, hence the consuming of the island. And they've outright said that at this point, so that's not a spoiler or anything. The consuming part is like my take on it, though. They don't specifically say that. Anyway. Go to spin-off, oh god. That would be interesting though, because I do wonder what his life is like outside of, like, the narration's perspective on him. I'm kind of curious. Yeah, the goats are an interesting concept, because they get kind of just sort of, because they're like a stand-in, right? So they're kind of flexible in a way. Interesting. So, for anyone who hasn't seen, because you know I put like the fun fact section in the YouTube videos, right? And if you haven't seen those, check them out at some point maybe, because they're fun. That's why they're fun facts. But originally Goto was going to have a big secret, which is that he was having an affair with Natsuhi. But that got written out. Like, that was originally the plan of the author, and then he changed his mind because people complained. Like, people on staff complained. I was like, well, you know, this doesn't feel good. And I'm glad that he wrote it out. I really, really am, because I feel like it would have diminished Natsuhi's character by a lot. Like, I think it would have really... Like, it would have changed her character completely, and I like the character she is now. She's one of my favorites. I'm a little biased, but still. Like, she would have become a completely other character if that was the thing, because her whole, like, loyalty to the family and her husband would immediately be in question, right? So she would become like a different type of person. And then he would have had to rewrite all of episode 5, I mean. I don't know why I said 7, but yeah. Like, I'm not sure if I would say it would cheapen her, I just don't think it would make, like, sense. Ah. That would have been wild though if she'd been handed her own baby, like raise this baby. I mean, it could have happened if she put it in the orphanage and then Kinzo went to get the baby from the orphanage. But yeah, that... I don't know, I'm glad that got written out. Because I don't think it would have fit. Okay. I think my throat is recovered, so... Sorry about that little break, but also, you know, we had a nice chat, so it's fine. Personally speaking, I would like to surrender. If my purpose is to come to an end in any event, I would prefer that my Game Boy be preserved the way I made it. I could not bear to have Lady Lambdadelta continue to use it however she pleases.
We don't want that either. I came here to fight you, but I'm no match for Lady Lambdadelta's friends.
Secretly, Erica was getting worried at these complicated developments. And she was relieved that she hadn't pushed too hard earlier on. She wanted to curry favor with Beato and end this with a bloodless takeover. Even the great Lady Lambdadelta probably wouldn't seriously think of picking a fight with the Senate. Her motive was probably something much more trivial. A simple desire to watch the game board's final fireworks from a front row seat. However, if she really did have some fireworks of her own prepared, it was at least possible that this could turn into a ruckus that Erika would have no chance of quelling. Beato saw all of this going on in Erika's mind. So, she continued to act with an even more pathetic expression on her face. Even among witches, her acting ability was top-notch. Yeah, timeline-wise, that wouldn't have made sense either. All the better that they didn't go with that. I mean, if that was the baby, but that was obvious, yeah. Anyway, Natsuki's cool. I like her. Might you be willing to lend us some of your strength, so that my game board's beauty will be preserved? Yes, it was a great error to invite that busybody as a guest.
I understand. I'd like to end this quietly too, if I can. So, how can we work together?
For some time now, we have been arguing over whether we should surrender or resist. I intend to return to the debate myself to propose that we surrender, and ask Lady Lambdadelta not to do anything that might destroy the game board.
That would please me very much. So, what should I do?
I would like you to guarantee that we have the necessary time to debate the matter. After all, your ships are surrounding and pressuring us at the moment. Everyone is so tense at the thought that we may be attacked at any time that they're falling apart. And so, if you guarantee that we will have enough time to discuss this amongst ourselves, everyone will surely be able to keep their composure during that time. Furthermore, I will have enough time to convince Lady Lambdadelta.
Very well. About how long do you need?
Would you be gracious and avoid giving a specific time limit? If a time limit is imposed, everyone will just fall apart again as the limit nears, possibly leading to an agitated decision.
You have a point there. The most important thing about a fuse is whether it's lit or not. The length of the fuse is a trivial matter.
In that case, will you give us the time we need?
Understood. I guarantee that you will have time to discuss it. However, that time will not be unlimited. I will wait here and listen in on your discussion.
Well, as far as that goes, it is true that your mere presence here has everyone on edge.
I've already made my concessions. Isn't it your turn now?
They were some distance away from the arbor, but still just about close enough that one could get a general idea of what was going on. It might just barely be possible to hide the fact that Battler and Lambdadelta were missing, to convincingly pretend to be engaged in a white-hot argument in gridlock. But absolutely nothing was safe at this distance. If it were possible, they would rather have kept Erika waiting much further away. They had planned to set up a seat of honor for their guest at one of the far corners of the garden maze.
Is there some sort of problem?
Okay. Don't make such a scary face. In that case, please wait here. This is a confidential conference, so you must, come no closer than this line. Beato drew a line in the ground with her foot. Help them see me in a good light. If it's clear that I have obtained a generous agreement from you, that That will be a powerful weapon in my hands in the debate.
Could I get a chair?
Yes, of course. Chester troops, bring Miss Erica a chair and umbrella at once. And a hand towel, too. I'll wipe it nice and clean for you. The troll face. And Natsuhi is a little stuck up. Yes, it's, honestly, I personally think it's part of her charm. I just think she's cute. Also sorry for the little disconnect sound there. Milady, have there been any developments in our negotiations? If anything's certain, it's that I'll be winning this year's prize for Best Actress. What are you planning on doing with that towel? Hopefully slap Erica in the face.
That's our Beatrice-sama.
All we can do is argue fiercely, squabble amongst ourselves, and make it look like things will turn for the worse if negotiations break down. Indeed. What we begin now is a fight, as important as any other, to support Battler's group. Get yourselves ready, everyone. Let us argue and insult with all we have. Got it? Yes, my lord. The sight of Goda, his cheek red and swollen from being pinched, made everyone snort, including me, but they quickly covered their mouths and put fingers to their lips. Then, everyone nodded at each other, and the fake argument resumed. Erica was sitting in the chair that the Chester sisters had brought her, filling a goat in on the details of the negotiation. The goat would probably return and tell the rest of the fleet. The fleet would tell Burncastle, and Burncastle might think of some plan to deal with the situation or give new orders. The conversation with the goat ended, and it spun around. It would return to the dinghy and report on this to the fleet. It left the rose bushes behind and passed through the garden maze, heading towards the door that led outside. Would it really be okay to let that goat reach the boats? If it made it back, Erica's report would reach Burncastle's ears. The Chester sisters spoke through a secret channel that only they could use.
2 seconds, yeah. Wouldn't even be a sound, yeah. It's just about to leave Erica's sphere of awareness. Can assassinate until it's in range of the goat boatman. ETA 10 seconds.
Lady Beatrice, permission to assassinate. We can do it. Erica will sense nothing. You do not have permission. Do you think an envoy would leave their boat without setting a time limit? The fleet probably has orders to attack if it isn't contacted within a certain period of time. Let that goat go. 00, understood. The goat passed through the door. Then, after receiving a silent bow from Shannon and Cuddle, it got on the dinghy and returned to the fleet. The fleet would probably follow Erica's orders and stand by until an attack order was given. That gave the residents of the Golden Land a chance to assassinate Erica. But of course, that wasn't going to be possible, practically speaking. She was Burncastle's greatest underling, and a witch who controlled truth. Tricking her was all they could hope for. Anything else would be wishful thinking.
Why don't you all have a seat too?
You need have no worries about us, ma'am. Without any hint that she had just been talking about assassinations, 00 stood upright, with her hands clasped behind her back. Surrender, or resist until the end. The false argument resumed. Just how well and how long would they be able to trick Erica? Yes, the final fight for the Golden Land had already begun. Meddler, you can count on us to handle things here. It's time for you and Ange to take this final game back. This is one freakishly huge library. I've heard that each one of these books has a tale like ours inside it. After all, this is a world of gods.
You can tell at a glance that it's not a place for the likes of you guys, right?
After passing through the barrier, the three of them had finally made it inside the City of Books. For some time, they were overcome by the countless otherworldly sights before them, but they quickly remembered their original objective.
Okay, listen up. First off, don't get the wrong idea. You two came here to fight Byrne, but that doesn't mean walking up to her and attacking her directly, okay?
We know.
In the first place, you were only able to fight the Great Beatrice on an even footing because the game board protected you with rules that made it that way. If you leave the game board, you're more like something that'll leave a small stain on her palm when she swats you. Don't forget that. Got it?
Makes sense. This isn't the game board we're familiar with. We didn't come here to fight. We came here to take something back with us.
Exactly. You're here to prevent the Book of the Single Truth from being exposed to the public. That is your only goal, your only fight. You better not be confused about that.
Balor and Ange nodded to show their understanding.
The Book of the Single Truth itself is being displayed openly in the middle of the party, so stealing that'll be impossible. However, bringing in the key is a big part of the ceremony.
Which means the key must be stored in a different place. But there's no guarantee that it'll be undefended.
After all, after that, it's all up to your luck. I hope it's good, for your sakes. Hide.
Lambdadelta pulled her head back from around the corner of a bookshelf. The others hurriedly followed suit. In the distance, they saw emerald green lights floating about and leaving trails.
Those are Byrne's cat familiars. She's got them patrolling all over the place today.
Did you guess that we would come?
No. Don't forget how huge this place is. Those are staff cats, out looking for nitwit guests who've gotten lost so that they can be taken to the lost children area.
That's not where we want to go at the moment. It looks like one's about to find us. Should we take them out?
I'd advise against it. Maybe if this were some other territory or game board. But this is Byrne's home base. That single cat should make you as scared as being surrounded by a crowd of vicious beasts. Plus, they're cats. They've got good senses, and they'll call for their friends. If they spot you, you'd better prepare yourself for what comes next. I'm not going to save you. Just taking you here has been troublesome enough. As for me, if I surrender, I might get off the hook with being stripped naked and put through 100 years of all the worst kinds of puke spittle fragments. Again with the puke spittle. How wonderful. I think I can sympathize with Burn's feelings a bit now.
Lambdadelta wasn't laughing. Most likely, even this punishment she spoke of was pretty optimistic. Despite saying that she won't offer any more help, she's already risking everything. And for what?
Isn't that obvious?
Lambdadelta brushed her hair back and grinned.
It's because you're gonna show me the perfect happy ending.
Ooh, new CG. Lambdadelta hugged their heads at the same time, making their foreheads bonk together.
You'd better show me, for certain.
Yeah. We'll show you a certain happy ending.
We'll certainly take this cat box back. Let's go. This way, and swim quietly.
The three of them swam out into the darkness of the deep ocean trench that was the city of books. In that massive, vast trench of bookshelves, they vanished into the darkness almost immediately. The library defied the common sense of the human world. The city of books. The word city was no exaggeration, and it was filled with the green, glowing eyes of Burncastle's countless cat familiars. Trying to count them would be almost as crazy as counting all the fish in the ocean. They formed schools that swam all over the place, on the lookout for any fools who might miraculously have managed to slip in and disturb their master's party. If Valor's group was found, the cats would report it instantly. They would probably form a pack, open their large mouths and swallow them in a single gulp. There would be no fight. In this place, Valor's party would be swallowed like tiny fishes if they were discovered. The warships surrounding the Golden Land were well more than 100 strong. Each of them had dozens of cannons pointing at the door to the Golden Land. The goats that packed the decks of the ships numbered in the tens of thousands. Each one of them carried anti-magic toxin in their fangs, potent enough to completely deny each of the game board pieces one by one. This time, they would chew apart and eat away everything. The crowd of goats unleashed their rotten breath and dangling gruel. At that time, Erica, who wanted to avoid trouble and hoped Beata would be able to convince Lambdadelta to surrender peacefully, was sitting alone, calmly enjoying the tea that Ronald had poured for her. Of course, even Erica wasn't planning to give them unlimited time. In her mind, she had already decided to allow them 3 yawns before stepping in.
This actually isn't so bad. Getting to watch Beato try and convince everyone as they call her a coward and a loser.
Indeed. It is impressive that our short-tempered mistress has managed to become such an adult.
What's so funny?
Oh, pardon me. Are you ready for another cup? Please feel free to enjoy our collection of great teas from across the globe at your leisure.
Lambda's leading Beato's side into an all-out resistance. And she's gathering her friends. Is this a joke?
The messenger cat shook its head, then continued to dispassionately meow its report.
Even Lambda isn't that stupid. She should know what it means to have Ao as your enemy.
Even as she said this, Berncastle was chewing away at her thumbnail.
Despite how she looks, that kid has a lot of strange friends. Absolute monsters who just love to meddle. But even so, to take up arms against the sinner.
It was possible. She could think of many monsters among Lambdadelta's friends who would love to see a losing side get support and make a comeback victory. Before she realized it, the finger Berncastle was biting was covered with sweat.
She might do it. She really is a moron sometimes after all. Get me a phone, quickly.
The cat leapt away, then flew back with a phone and receiver.
I'm going to call up her friends. I have to warn them to not to get involved in this stupid game. Phone numbers. Why don't I have any phone numbers saved in here? Oh, right. I have no friends. How are you supposed to greet people over the phone? Does hello work?
Meow. Yeah, if they send Goda, then that's it. Game over. The golden key was being kept in a room inside the City of Books. However, perhaps room wasn't a fitting word to use. It was large enough that you could probably fit 2 domed baseball stadiums in it, one atop the other. Even so, in this city, these were called rooms. Floating in the center of this vast room were several sacred magic circles. Wrapped around by these magic circles was Ange's golden key. Surrounding this were countless emerald green stars, which looked like a slowly revolving planetarium. Those eyes, as numerous as the stars, were all glaring in the same direction.
Come on, don't look at me like that. I'm on your side. Did you forget?
One of the cats kitty-paddled towards Ava, meowing that no one was allowed to enter this room.
Lady Berncastle has ordered me to guard that key. So, why don't you leave this to me and get lost?
After looking at each other with suspicious eyes, the cats glared at Ava again, as though saying that they hadn't heard any such order.
By the way, cats have pretty soft bodies, don't they?
Or more like, huh?
Much easier to chew that way.
Ava lifted up her golden staff, and a circular pattern of red lines covered the floor and the ceiling of the vast room. The reaction from the cats was lightning fast. They realized instantly that this was hostile behavior. The entire emerald green constellation writhed and became a single, massive, deep-sea fish, which charged at Ava with its massive mouth wide open. However, at the same time, the red lines and the massive spiderwebs on the floor and ceiling came crashing together and crushed the fish, twisted it, spun it around and around, and compressed it to the size of a small ball. Don't get on Ava's bad side, holy shit. Then, that ball-shaped thing burst open, leaving nothing left. It all happened in an instant.
Why don't you just give up and die?
Again, I refuse with the bad pun. I'm sorry, I refuse. It's terrible. Forever. Like, that's a good pun to, like, a 12-year-old, okay? We have standards here. The witch hunters were holding a convention in the event hall. After all, once Ishiriya Ava's diary was opened, the endless cat box would be lost, along with the countless imagined stories that had entertained them for so long. So, this final convention was a time for them to air their best theories one last time. Which Ava probably is 12. You're right, but still. The cat box was soon to be opened, and while it did give them a slightly lonely feeling, they couldn't contain their excitement as intellectual rapists. Not when they knew that the Rokanjima mystery was finally going to be solved once and for all. There was a girl out there who was going to be hurt by the opening of that box. However, their jaws and fangs couldn't care less. The witch-hunting goat nobles kept licking their lips, wanting to chew apart the guts of Beatrice's cat box as soon as they could. Seated upon a grand throne the size of a pillow, Featherine listened in on the nonsense being spewed from the mouths of the goat nobles. A black cat wearing a cape silently appeared and whispered something into Featherine's ear. No, it is fine. Everything is going according to my script. You need not inform Umineko. The cat bowed humbly and vanished. Featherine raised her wine glass high, and laughed as she looked through it to the light of the chandelier, which was as beautiful and majestic as the moon. This should be enough to thank you for your excellent reading, child of man. Well now, just who is weaving this tale? Am I for you, or are you for me?
What do you think?
A trap. As Balor's group moved forward, darting from bookshelf to bookshelf while avoiding the eyes of the cats, they found something strange. Written with a faintly glowing red substance was a letter and an arrow. K. That's what it looked like to them. Do you think K means key? Those marks only appeared when we got close. This is a message aimed at us.
Does this mean there's someone here besides us who's willing to help?
Is there really anyone who'd take our side? Anja traced the red arrow with her finger. It was written with very faint, thin strings that had been twisted together. Sticky red strings that, when touched, melted like cotton candy and clung to the fingers. There is someone who's always been on my side.
How can you be so sure?
Yeah, I get it now, Sue. Lambda, we can trust the person who wrote this. She'll probably be able to guide us to the key safely.
Are you sure? Then let's go. We don't have time to be standing around.
Thank you, Mom. In the arbor, the argument over whether they should surrender or fight continued, without signs of stopping. Every now and then, a small fight would break out, which fortunately ended up delaying Erika's third yawn. However, they didn't know how long they would have to continue this fake fight. Keeping this level of high tension going was physically stressful. The instant they tired out and the tension faded, Erika would probably demand a verdict. They had to constantly appear to be trapped and agitated. It was a battle of weariness and tension. This was their fight. Erika waited patiently. Now that she had tired of tea, she was watching Ronove perform some magic tricks and seemed to be quite enjoying herself. Even Ronove, who is usually aloof from the world, was fighting. If Erika got bored and lost her patience with them, an all-out attack would probably begin at once. Even he was putting everything he had into the fight to buy time for Balor's group. As the fiercest leader in the argument, Beato roared out the quickest. She breathed heavily, and her face was so pale it seemed she might faint at any moment. Beato, hang in there. Your body won't hold out much longer at this rate. Pretend to suddenly burst into tears and rest for a while. We'll pick up the slack. I'm still fine. Come on. From the top, one more fierce debate. Let's go. So, who's up first? Who wants to kick this off? In that case, Goda, am prepared. We must fight. It would be outrageous to accept defeat without fighting. As I've said from the beginning, fighting with all we have is the only option.
Hold on a second.
Erika suddenly rose from her chair. Ronove tried to coax her back into her seat, but Erika's attention was completely focused on those arguing under the arbor.
I am
Erika, please. Stop saying that. I can't pronounce it for some reason.
I am the detective. My memory of what I hear is as good as a recording.
We are aware of that, of course. You are quite an excellent detective after all.
I'm not interested in you. Goda-san, I have one question for you.
Yes, ma'am. Have I done something to cause offense?
Hold on. Don't forget that some of us are opposed to fighting. I think we should surrender. Those were the first words I heard from you when I arrived here. However, you just said this. We must fight. It would be outrageous to accept defeat without fighting. As I've said from the beginning, fighting with all we have is the only option. And that's what you said.
Did I say that? It is hardly strange for an opinion to change in the course of a discussion. Indeed, all of us have been feeling doubts about our position lately, so an occasional change of opinion wouldn't be...
No. From beginning to end, no one has changed their opinion in this argument. Just now, Goda-san alone flipped his position 180 degrees. Furthermore, if I recall the things that were said to Goda-san by the rest of you, I can't imagine any of them sufficient to make an entirely switch position.
An uncomfortable, damp wind flew by. Everyone was silent, frozen, as though time had stopped. In that silence, Erika continued with a blank expression.
This can lead us to two conclusions. First, it may be that Goda-san has no opinion, and is just a loser who will say anything that goes with the flow. Second, it may be that none of you has an opinion, and that this entire argument exists only for its own sake.
Aren't you overthinking this a bit? Here we are in a desperate debate that will decide our fate. I hardly think it's strange that some people would act abnormally under such pressure.
If you have some reason for prolonging a meaningless argument, that can only be to buy time. Do you have anything to gain by buying time? Is it because Lady Lambdadelta's reinforcements will come? That can't be true either. After all, for some time now, I have heard all of you speak to Lady Lambdadelta in battle occasionally, but not once have I heard them reply. Taking all of this into account, we are left with only one conclusion.
That Lady Lambdadelta and Battler are not here now. That these people have won Lady Lambdadelta's assistance, with Lady Lambdadelta and Battler probably planning to sneak into the City of Books. In which case, their goal is probably to steal back the Golden Key and Ange. And your plan was to act as bait and buy time until their mission was complete.
All it takes is a single poorly chosen line from Gore-san, and a deduction like this becomes trivial for Fururo Erika. Your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen?
With a blank, yet ruthless expression, Erika spoke these words and returned to her seat. Everyone else was frozen, unable to move. No one spoke. However, time was moving. As evidence, a bead of sweat dripped down someone's cheek, fell, and hit the table with a tiny yet audible splat. Then, frozen time shattered, and in the same instant, the white chair Erika had been sitting in broke apart. The stakes of the Seven Sisters of Purgatory and the high-velocity rounds from the Jester Sisters had obliterated the chair at exactly the same time. And a few moments after that, the Erika sitting in that chair faded and vanished. After image.
She's fast. Kill her.
Okay, that's kind of badass. In an instant, Erika had moved to a spot behind the chair. Her expression remained as blank as it had been. However, there was now something in her hand that wasn't there before. As the 7 lightning strikes of the 7 sisters raced at her once more, she batted all of them away with her scythe.
That was one hell of a farce. But I will say that the tea was good. Well now, it seems that you've all been in agreement since the start. Allow me to ask for your answer once again.
Erika lifted her hand, the one that wasn't holding the scythe. It can be a hook in our hearts. Very well. Then answer I shall. This golden land belongs to we, to all of us. Those who would enter unbidden will receive the welcome they deserve. In other words, to put it elegantly,
all cannons, prepare to fire. Target the Golden Land.
Go wash your face in miso soup.
Shoot him dead.
Go wash your face in miso soup is a really specific threat, I feel like. As opposed to shoot them alive. True.
Yes, thank you. See you around. Meow.
Oh, she did it. She said meow. Burncastle set down the receiver and crossed out yet another name on a list of Lambdadelta's notable friends. Something was wrong. No one she called had heard anything from Lambdadelta. they weren't just playing dumb. They really knew nothing about the strange ruckus Lambdadelta was trying to stir up. Even Bernkastel was starting to suspect that something was fishy. Then, a black cat leapt in and meowed a frantic report.
Lambda and Battler aren't in the Golden Land.
She tore the phone receiver from its stand. The number she dialed was short. It was probably an eternal line. However, after listening to it ring several times, she slammed the receiver down again, finally managing to break the phone.
Gather all the cats who aren't busy. This is an emergency. The cats I had guarding the key aren't responding. Lambda.
Overwhelmed with emotion, Bernkastel kicked the table over. Then, the room finally grew bright. It was like green sunlight. A bright green light waved about, giving the illusion that a green sun was rising and lighting the room up. It was a sign that Bernkastel's army had been given an emergency summons.
Come, my kitties. It's time for a witch hunt. That kid always smells like candy, so you'll find her pretty fast. The first cat who finds her, gets a human form and a witch's title.
What was now an emerald green nebula let out a roar of delight that shook the bookshelf cliff. Something's chasing us. What is that? A green sun?
Hide! They know!
The three of them frantically hid behind a bookshelf. The room with the key in it was straight ahead. They could see something glowing faintly in the darkness of that room. It was a glow different from anything else they had seen so far in the city. The color it glowed was gold. They had almost reached the golden key. However, if they went towards it, Bernkastel would be right behind them, along with a vast swarm of familiars. In other words, they were trapped in a dead end. They already knew that the emerald green color came from the eyes of the familiars. However, it was almost beyond comprehension that this undulating green sun could be the same thing, and they could do nothing except stare in wide-eyed shock. As the countless cats approached, they passed through the ravine of bookshelves from the very top to the very bottom, painstakingly checking the gaps between each book. However, even this mind-numbingly huge task was accomplished swiftly, thanks to the sheer number of familiars. With the speed of a gust of wind, they carefully checked every nook and cranny. There was no way to hide from this green sun. That would have been as foolish as trying to hide from water on a sinking ship.
Will we be able to hide until they pass us?
No. We'll be found no matter where we hide. Fowler was just about to leap out from the shadows, but Lambdadelta grabbed him by the collar an instant before.
Are you thinking of fighting?
No, but we'll be found if we just stand here. So we have to move forward. We need to reach the key as soon as possible.
You really think there aren't cats guarding the key? We're already trapped between them.
I believe in Aunt Ava. She's the one who guided us this far. I'm sure she took care of the guard cats too. I agree. If we're just going to be found anyway, then let's try and get there as fast as possible and grab the key. If we can just get that, no one will be able to open that book.
So, you'll rush in there and grab the key. And then what? That place is a dead end. There'll be nowhere to run. Don't you realize that?
We know that, but the key will be our trump card. It's vitally important for Bernkastel too. If worst comes to worst, we might be able to use the key as a bargaining chip.
Bargain? With Burn? You're insane.
But if we hide here, we'll definitely be found. In that case, I'll take a bet on that 1,000,000,000 to 1 chance. We'll get the key and have that be our trump card.
So, you're praying for a miracle to win against the Witch of Miracles?
Picking a winner out of astronomically bad odds. That's the Ushiramiya family magic. True.
I've got good eyesight, so let me enlighten you. Can you see those magic circles around the golden key? That's a simple barrier, but a pretty strong one. On the plus side, it'll break at a touch. But it's a really mean-spirited seal that'll take exactly 1 hour to fade, whether a great witch or a lowly human does it. According to the ceremony schedule, we still have that hour. But it means that we won't even be able to touch the key unless we can buy all that time for ourselves.
When Aunt Ava took out the guard cats, she must have broken the magic circle too. It probably won't take an hour.
As far as I can see, the magic circle is still just fine. Sorry to say it, but even if Ava did do that, it was less than an hour ago.
Well, what's an hour? At least we know that we can get it if we manage to stick around that long.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's play tag for an hour. I'm used to getting chased around by thugs.
You two really are out of your minds. You really think you'll get the luxury of a game of tag out of Burn and all her cats?
If there's even a 1% chance, you can be certain that we'll grab it. There was an immense difference in enthusiasm between Lambdadelta and the siblings, who had nothing left to lose. However, this was by no means cowardice on Lambdadelta's part. She was a great witch of the Senate. If she surrendered, she wouldn't be able to escape severe punishment, but she would be forgiven after a few hundred years. She had been thrown into a stormy sea while clutching a buoy that could save only her. How could she possibly decide to throw that buoy away? There was no way a person with a life to lose could be as determined as those who were already gambling everything. No one could blame her.
Ah, jeez. You two really are stupid, you know that? Alright, fine. I'll tell you a plan that's got a bit more than a 1% chance of working. Any guesses?
The two siblings looked at each other. However, they both thought that any plan would be worth listening to, even if it would only raise their chances by however you pronounce this very, 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 very small number.
A sacrifice. Burn is a cat, so although she'll give chase to fleeing prey, she'll also kill prey that doesn't flee, after toying with it first.
Cats are terrible creatures. Still, if that's true, it'll be worth the bet.
Let's have one sacrifice. We'll decide with rock, paper, scissors. Whoever loses has to go spend as much time as possible taunting Burn, getting laughed at, and getting killed. Does that work for you?
No need for rock, paper, scissors. I'll do it. You two go on to the key room. No way, Oni-chan. I'll do it. This is all my responsibility. I was the one who listened to Burncastle and trusted her. So I've got a thing or two to say to her. But Battler and Ange decided to be the sacrifice and wouldn't listen to the other.
See, you need rock, paper, scissors to decide, right? If you don't act quickly, you won't even have a chance to use this plan. We'll be here any moment.
Okay. Either Ange or I will be the sacrifice. Lambdadelta, you'll take whoever's left, steal the key, and take them back to the Golden Land. I won't let you do it. Oni-chan. Quit joking around. You've got to let me act like a big brother at least once in a while.
There's no time. Rock, paper, scissors, single round. I'm super paper with a head full of confetti, so in reference to that, we'll all start with paper. Got it, you two?
Fine. Ange. No regrets, okay?
3, 2, 1, paper.
It really was a stupid, childish game of rock, paper, scissors. Despite promising to start with paper, they threw different signs to catch each other off guard. Both Battler and Ange chose rock. And yet, it wasn't a tie. Because in addition to those two rocks, was one person who chose scissors. After staring stupidly at their fists and those scissors, they looked at her.
Ah, dang. You were supposed to start with paper, so I figured I'd use scissors and beat you both. I guess Confetti Head should have stuck with paper.
There had been no reason for Lambdadelta to join in on the game. This wasn't the time for a joke like that. Battler and Ange, each trying to lose, chose rock. Lambdadelta alone chose scissors. Don't tell me you intentionally... If you die, we can't even get back to the Golden Land. This doesn't count.
Well then, you could just use this, can't you?
Lambdadelta made a clenched fist. A fragment glowing pale blue appeared there, and she gave it to the pair of them. Battler had seen one of these before. It was a magic fragment like the one Eric had used before disappearing, which would allow one to cross the sea of fragments.
With that, you'll be able to return to the Golden Land. And anyway, I'm the best person for the job. You two probably wouldn't last a handful of seconds against Burn. If it's me, not only would an hour be no problem, but who knows, I might even win. And I owe her one. I've got to make this my victory and even the score. Still, away games are such a pain.
Lambdadelta pretended to complain as she stood up straight.
Anyway, see you in a bit. I guess a show-off like me couldn't stick to being a spectator after all. Sorry for stealing your time to shine. It's sad that I won't be able to watch your game until the end, but I've already taken a look at the script and so I'm not missing anything.
Lambda. Then, the broadest smile and a wink.
This is your happy ending. I've already figured out what happens next, so there's no need to watch. I'll see the two of you again. In the credit roll of your happy ending, that is.
Wait! Lambdadelta snapped her fingers. The two of them turned into Competo candies. She picked them up, took aim at the glint of the golden key, and flicked them away. That way, they should be able to reach the key without Burncastle noticing. Dang, what terrible luck. What were the odds of both of them both playing a rock against my scissors? Yeah, I know. It wasn't nice of me to test you like that. Sorry, you two. And then, Lambdadelta's body was lit up by an emerald green light. When she turned around, the cat's eyes and Lambdadelta's met. Lambdadelta grinned and waved. There was a thunderous boom and several bright flashes.
What in the...
What? That was awesome. A chain of explosions flashed by one after another, enveloping Burncastle and her pack of familiars in an instant. They were multicolored fireworks, or rather, multicolored candy that burst with a flash and scattered everywhere. Countless stick candies, sugar sculptures, cookies and tarts flew in every direction, and each one of those split and exploded into hundreds of candles, each of which exploded again into a cloud of competo. However, these sweets weren't sweet. The competo was heavier than lead, harder than steel, and sharper than any blade. As the colorful cloud exploded outward, it blasted the entire pack of cats into little bits. The emerald green glints that were scattered everywhere sparkled like the night sky, and among them danced the cloud of pretty candies that looked like they'd go well in the Christmas tree. It was flashy and beautiful and cute and perfectly fitting for the grand entrance of the Great Witch, Lady Lambdadelta.
Oh, if it isn't Lambda. I was hoping to meet you in the party hall. I love you, Bird. Isn't the whispering of our love all the better if we're alone? I'll be happy to hear it after I've plucked off all your limbs.
With a jerk of her chin, Byrne ordered her familiars to attack.
This is my dearly beloved and only friend in the world. Her arms from the elbow down, her legs from the knees down. You can chew those up however you please, but not a scratch anywhere else on her.
Holy shit. Holy shit, okay, that's mildly terrifying. The crowd of cats undulated again, reformed into a single mass, and became the emerald green leviathan that would swallow up any poor victims who snuck into the city of books. It was shaped like an impossibly vast whale. However, would it look like a whale from Lana's perspective? She probably couldn't see anything except an immense mouth about to swallow up everything.
Simply wonderful. You're going to swallow me up with your love, aren't you? I do love you, Lambda. Once your limbs are gone, I'll skewer you through your butt and hang you by my bed. Every morning, I'll give you a good morning kiss, and every evening, I'll kiss you goodnight. Sounds great. I'd better wrap you up in my love, too.
Are they? They're just oh shit. However, Lambdadelta's war cry was swallowed up by the glowing, writhing leviathan in a single bite.
Yes, you are wonderful, Lambda. I love your gentle cluelessness, the way you just recklessly do things without looking ahead. Huh? Wind.
They are literally flirting while they're doing this, it's wild. The same instant that Lambdadelta was swallowed and Burncastle was sure of her victory, the latter felt a slight breeze playing with her hair. The countless sweets that Lambdadelta had sent flying like fireworks, which drifted about like the decorations at a Christmas party, were flowing. No, they were converging on a single spot. It was like watching a firework run backwards. Countless sweets rapidly contracting to somewhere within the vast, closed mouth of the Leviathan. A gigantic reverse explosion gathering at a single inner point. Or perhaps it was more like countless candies showering the Leviathan from all directions like bullets. Inside that massive green was a black swirl. That swirl was on a palm. On the palm of Lambdadelta, who wore a defiant smile. It was a mass of super concentrated gravity. All of the sweets, the cats, the whale, and everything else was being sucked into that one point and crunched. Big Gobstopper, you're right. On brand.
I'll hold you tight. Get over here, Burn. You're trying to suck me in?
All of the candies Lambdadelta had scattered was getting sucked back into the black hole in our palm at unbelievable speeds. The pressure of the reverse candy explosion whittled away at the Leviathan, crushing it inwards.
Come on, let me give you a hug.
With all her strength, Berncastle held her ground in midair, trying to resist the supergravity. For the first time, all trace of condescension had left her face. Even Lambdadelta's cocky expression was marred by the sweat trailing from her forehead. Because their power was so overwhelming, any victory would have to be instantaneous. If either relaxed in the slightest, they would match each other's strengths and get dragged into another dizzyingly long fight that could last for centuries. Neither of them had any desire to go through that again. So, neither of them showed the slightest mercy for their most beloved friend. By now, the Leviathan had been completely crushed and compressed inside the black hole. Berncastle was the only one still holding her ground. However, a windstorm of candy asteroids like an asteroid belt repeatedly slammed into Berncastle, wearing away her girl form bit by bit.
I've got to get away. I really can't.
The next thing to fly into Berncastle's range of vision was a comet hurtling straight for her, with a massive present box at its core and a cloud of candy surrounding it.
Lambda! My body.
The candy comet wiped out Berncastle along with her scream. It burst into little bits, then, within a blink of an eye, it was sucked back into a hole of supergravity. Once it was all gathered into one place like a gem, it began to spin rapidly. It was flattened by the centrifugal force, turning into something whose shape resembled a galaxy. After swallowing all the cats and their master, it now looked like a winding, flickering, emerald-green galaxy that floated just above Lambdadelta's pole. The power of supergravity kept compressing it further and further, until, at the end, it had become a single green shining completo. Then, it fell, down onto her outstretched palm.
Sorry, Bern. I wanted to play with you always, so I've always taken it easy and pretended to be in a pinch.
Lambdadelta held the completo above her head and peered at it.
But the truth is, I'm just impossibly strong. Sorry.
Then, she pressed the completo to her pink lips, gave it a light kiss, and bit down.
This doesn't taste like Bern.
Lambdadelta licked her fingertips, then turned to face the empty air behind her.
I already knew. My beloved Lambda. I love you too, Bern. Liar. Liar. You're never serious with me. And I always knew it. In that case, let's show our love for real. With both of us. Serious. I do love you, Lambdadelta. I'm happy. So happy. I do love you, Berncastle. I'll turn you into candy and cuddle you with my tongue forever. So, no matter who wins, we can keep on loving each other. That's wonderful. Just wonderful. Okay, let's show our love right now.
Christ, these two are scary. I would love to continue and... Oh fuck, I'm sorry. I scrolled on accident. I didn't mean to continue. I wanted to wrap it up. With a crash, crack lines appeared across the sky of the Golden Land. There we go. Now it'll save, like a good boy. I wanted to get a little further today, but these scenes were a lot longer than I anticipated. And it is entirely possible that I'll have to add another episode in. We'll see. It's so hard to predict. Some scenes are really long and some scenes are not. And yeah, Lambda stepped up, apparently. Though if she did it for them or for getting a chance to flirt with Vern, you know, who knows? I think it's a little of both. I have no reason to doubt. But yeah, this music is kind of loud, so I'm gonna cut it off here. Okay, I'm just double checking that I saved. Alright. Do love that song though. But yes. My god, my voice hurts. My chest hurts literally from talking. That's a new one, I'll be honest. Lambda's voice is really rough. She talks a lot. Plus all the other voices, so oof. But hey, we did it. We got through it. And I'm gonna wrap it up here. As you might have noticed. On account of me wrapping up. That was supposed to be a fade-in that broke, but hey, the end screen showed up this time. That's all I care about. It is nearly 1 AM for me, and I have to actually be up early. Well, not early, but like normal time for getting up for work. I have enough time to sleep though. If I didn't, I might have continued for like a little bit longer, but nah. What I might do is start earlier next time, but I'll have a think about that, and if so, I will announce it properly on time so that y'all know. And of course, everything's gonna end up on the YouTube channel and stuff before next week. Yes. That's the plan. Because I would like to finish on the 5th. I really would. But we'll see. I might try to figure out how long the next bit is by looking at some videos maybe. We'll see. I'll do my best. And then we can say Happy Halloween, Maria. Yeah. I mean, I am planning like a Halloween thing. That's sort of Maria-centered. I hope I can finish it in time, because it's gonna be a huge task, but you'll see. It's gonna be a secret for now. It'll be a surprise. But yeah. Yes. Okay. Time for me to go. Bring tissues next week. I think. I'm not 100% sure, but I think you might need them. If all goes to plan, you will need them, so bring them. It's better to have them ready than to strike out now when you need them. And just be mentally prepared that it might get a little rough on the emotional front. That's all I ask. Alright. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking this out with me. We are so close to finishing the series that I never thought I would finish. It's within reach. 2-3 more episodes, and that's that's it. We're gonna see the last end scroll. The last bit of credits, you know? Soon. Very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching. It really is, time flies. Thank you for being here. I will see you maybe on Monday when I do another stream. Slime Rancher 2 comes out. It's comes out today actually. And I'm gonna play it for the first time on Monday. Otherwise, maybe Wednesday, when we're gonna pick up where we left off today with Umineko. Maybe some other time, who knows? Either way, until then, I hope you do good. I hope you get everything you deserve. But like in a good way, that sounded like a threat, but like I meant in a positive way. You know? And yeah, see you soon. Thank you again. Good night. Bye bye.